right, so we'll get started, and as people come in, that is the way it will roll tonight. So I will start out welcoming everybody, and thank you so much for coming. We know that your time is very valuable, and we really appreciate you spending it with us. We thought we would just start off getting used to the chat box a little bit, and if you want to maybe just quickly type in the chat box and let us know where you're from. I know we try to have a global feel, and we do have quite a few areas represented. Not everybody that normally is from other places is here today. There's Kathy. How do you say that? Osoyos? It is Osoyos, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Osoyos, BC?
It's Usuyus.
Usuyos.
Huh.
Yeah, that's the proper way to say it, apparently.
Usuyos. I've heard it's like the decadent place in BC. Why didn't I go there when I was there? Yeah, there's Woodstock for Michelle. Crema, you're in Toronto. Awesome.
Chatham for Lori.
Pauline from Bloomfield, Michigan. Fellow Canadian originally.
Yes,
we'll
keep it
but raised and living in the US. So lovely. Glencoe. I knew it was near Chatham. I said it was near Chatham, Cheryl. I was like, where was it? Okay, Glencoe. Awesome. So you can just sort of jump in there and start writing your name. But as we do that, I also want you to answer one other question for us. And that would just be, here we go. Screen slide, please, Mel.
Trying to get that arrow up.
We're trying to get it. What brought you here today? So that's just a quick question, just to let us know, if you don't mind. Is it perhaps you saw one of our ads and you thought, oh, that sounds interesting, or you saw us posting something? Maybe you've been with us for a while and you've thought, you know what, they've been talking about this for a long time and it's finally here. I want to come out and see what it's all about, or maybe support us. Alex, I'm living in London, but I am originally from Colombia. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Put a little Latina flair in it.
I'm from Venezuela.
Venezuela. Lovely.
Yeah.
Who's that? Who said that? Oh, is that
Arlette, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. And Kathy, been to a few guest speaker events and curious about what you got going on. Woohoo, thank you. Cheryl, a chance meeting with Christine at the grocery store. That's true. We hadn't seen each other in a long time, and our moms were very close friends back in the day. So it was such a great surprise to bump into you there. Lori, I've been coming to Power and Aging for a while. I wanted to attend this evening on a new platform. Thank you, Lori. I have to say, Lori's one of our most dedicated members that keeps coming, and we love her and appreciate you very much. Arlette, I've been wanting to attend one of the meetings for a while. Awesome. Michelle, I was on the calls quite a while ago and thought it was about time to join again. Awesome. And so I know some of you have come out to some of our guest speaker events, which we really appreciate the support, and we try to add value to the community by offering different great speakers. And then we have the coaching sessions that follow those on the Saturday afterwards. Lori, and I love you, Mel and Jen. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And this is, as Lori mentioned in the chat, this is a new platform for us. So this has been a vision for a long time. We're launching into sort of a new area. It's been a lot of work, a labor of love, and a big project, but we are finally here and excited to share everything with you. So let's just do a quick outline of what we're going to be doing today. I want to reiterate that this is a webinar as opposed to a workshop. So we have done workshops before, and they're very interactive. We stop, we chat, we do all the feels and everything that comes with the workshop. But with the webinar, we're going to kind of just press through and get all the information out to you, and then have the Q&A at the end as well. So let's go over quickly our agenda. We have, first of all, we'll do a quick intro into who I am and who Mel is, for those of you who don't know us. Why PIA? Why Power and Aging? Why did it come about, and how it was born, I guess you might want to say. We have a short survey for you that's going to come back at the end as well, and you'll see why. And then we're going to explore a few areas of aging. Now, the more we work on this and the more Mel and I study the process of aging, there are so many areas and topics and themes. It is vast, but we're going to narrow it down just to 3 main big ones for us tonight and just kind of skim the surface, as that's all we have time for. So we'll be core beliefs, body image, and grief and letting go. And then we're going to put all these pieces together and show you how it's going to come together with our new online membership program. And of course, we have that special offer for you as well that we mentioned in the email. So this is Mel and I. We've known each other. Oh my gosh, we're going to age ourselves, but since grade 5. So since we were 10, we've been besties. We were called Frickin' Frack in school, and it kind of continues. So it's been 42 years that we've been together, but Mel jumped in and joined Power and Aging this past year as our health and wellness coach. And I'm thrilled that, like, I don't know, it's just for me, I don't want to get emotional, but our friendship blooms in many directions. So this is just the icing on the cake for me. So as for myself, I am a certified life skills coach, which is something I love to do. I felt that there was something kind of missing in my life and I wasn't serving people in the way that I wanted to. And that's what drove me into coaching. And since I just wrote coach, I'm also going to say I'm also a proud assistant baseball coach to my 9-year-old son's little league team, if we're talking about coaching. I also have been on a spiritual journey for close to 3 decades now and have become an angelic Reiki master practitioner and an angelic light worker, working through messages of angels, doing card readings, and I absolutely love that work. Traveler, big, huge part of my life. Mel and I actually together went to Australia when we were 16 to dance, and then I got the travel bug. So I was an exchange student in Brazil and then Holland. I started working on cruise ships, traveling the world, met my husband in Thailand. It's just been something that I love to do, and it's a huge part of my life. But my number one thing is I'm a mama bear. So I was a little bit late to the game, I guess an older mom, as you might call me. I have 2 young sons. They are 9. Kai is 9 and Rio is almost 12. In July, he'll be 12. So I had them both in my 40s and just put me in a different club, I guess, than some people. I am also a huge dreamer, and I believe that you can focus on your dreams and they can come true, and dreaming, the bigger the better. So we put that in there because that's really important as well. Leading into my entrepreneurship with all of the different work that I like to incorporate. And my former life was an actor. For those that don't know me, I went to theater school in New York. It was my big dream at one point. And I am still a full union actor member here in Canada, BC, and in Toronto, and did a lot of international commercials. That was kind of my thing. And then I went to England to be a TV presenter as well. So that was my life then, and it's kind of rolled and done a full circle, bringing me back here. And if you have other questions, I can tell you later, but that's probably enough for me right now. So I'm going to pass you over to Mel.
All right. So as you've heard, my name is Melanie, and I would say that my biggest thing is loving nature and all the aspects of nature. So that the picture and everything behind me is like what I love to be in, for sure. I even take that into my coaching. So I really love bringing herbs and whole foods and cooking and different things to people so that they can incorporate health and wellness through real food, really. So the coaching that I do, my background is in biology. I have a degree in biology. I have lots of certifications in things like endocrinology, detoxification, insulin reduction, stuff like that I've taken since then. I'm also a mother. I have a son who's a little bit older than Christine's boys. So so I'm in the next level up, right? He's out of the nest now, just he's 23. So different experience, but we'll all go through that if we've taken that step to be a mother. A traveler, same thing. I do love traveling. I love absorbing other people's cultures and really getting all the best things from what they do, because I think we limit ourselves when we stay in our little bubble. So I really love stepping outside of that and growing through other people's cultures and knowledge. Restaurateur. So I've had, my dad was a chef and my mom seems to be a serial entrepreneur as well. So I've dabbled, and my last restaurant, gosh, we've had several restaurants in my lifetime, but the one that I started was a Whole Foods plant-based one. here in London, and that's really, it fits me well. So that was something that I probably wouldn't have gone back into restaurants had it not been for that idea. And it was great. And now we've stepped away and we're doing this together, and it's been wonderful. It's great to work with like-minded people that you love.
Oh, thank you.
So onward, back to you, Chris.
Thank you. I'm trying to keep changing the pins here. So why PIA? Why now? Why did this come to light? Power and Aging was something that basically I felt I was coming into my 50th birthday. This was a couple years ago, and I had become a coach and I was working with people one-on-one, but I also had done training in group coaching and workshop leadership. And I thought, this is something I'm really passionate about, because when you work in a group, you raise each other up, you lift each other up, you're there with several people giving wisdom and knowledge, and everybody works together. So I absolutely adore group work. But when I started thinking, oh my God, like I'm turning 50, I started having all the feels that you get as that big number approaches. And for me, it was the physical stuff, the emotional stuff, letting go of things that, I was holding on to that, I hadn't quite accomplished yet, and everything that I thought, I need some help. I'm my perfect avatar of working through, of trying to work through this stuff. So I had this instant thought, what about group coaching for women going through middle age, right? And this, all the twists and turns and navigating all the inevitable changes that we go through. And I thought, this is kind of a gap in the market. I really don't see other, coaching programs geared to people going through these changes. So Power and Aging started, and we are trying to help women rediscover their purpose and who they are at this exact age.
That's going the wrong way. I don't know why.
So we have a question for you. This is our little survey that we thought we would ask you. So if you could type in the chat, you can type 1 through 5, or you can type all of them or a couple numbers. What would best help you to find your power in aging? How can we empower you? So one being an exploration of very pertinent and vital topics related to midlife and all the themes that come up, right? 2, self-development and transformational work, very important. 3, healthy challenges. We need to, empower each other and challenge each other and give each other some tips and tools as well to get through that. How about live coaching? Those sessions are, for me, one of my absolute favorite things is the live coaching sessions. And if you haven't already done it, a group coaching session, it's, a great place to start. Or number 5, active engagement in a supportive, like-hearted community. And I've said before, a lot of people, you go out and you find communities that you can join. If you're an avid reader, you might join a book club. If you are, a tennis player, you join the tennis club. So how about all of us women looking for support, just going through these challenges of aging, finding a nice like-hearted group?
There's a couple 2s. I see a 3 and a 4. All 5 for some.
Heck
There
yeah,
is a little
sister.
feedback in the video, and that's if everybody can make sure they've muted themselves, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
And 3, another 3 in there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So it's a variety. I mean, I think we really all need different things in that kind of support, and we have tried to pick all the top things that we feel really help people progress in their growth, and put it all together. So we're hoping to offer you all of the above, and even if you don't feel that you need that, maybe there's something that you want to focus on more, then having the other stuff is always a bonus, right? And learning other ways to support ourselves. So we are going to break into a few areas of aging that can really start to, come really relevant as we're going through middle age. So the first one we're going to touch upon is core beliefs. So core beliefs are things that we are, beliefs that we tell ourselves. Maybe we've heard them over and over again in our childhood. Maybe somebody's told them to us. Maybe it's, society tells us them, or the media. I'm just going to read this quote for you. Our core beliefs need to be seen for what they are: deeply held assumptions about reality that our particular life circumstances have conditioned us to accept as absolute truth, right? So this is where we start talking a little bit about truth versus perception. This is where we have to decide, is it a truth or is it something that we've just been told, right? The grass is green, the sky is blue. We believe it because we were told it. But some of the things aren't that cut and dry. And why do we hear this little voice nattering in our head all the time telling us we should or shouldn't do something, or we can or can't do something? That little devil on the shoulder that I want to swipe away, that is, that little negative Nilly in my ear trying to limit me. So we have a few examples of some limiting beliefs that through aging, this is more specifically geared to aging, that we might tell ourselves something like, my value decreases as I age, which this particular one I find really interesting. Mel and I have discussed that it's funny, in Western society, we tend to place more value on youth. And as we age, our value decreases. Whereas in other cultures, we tend to revere our elders, right? And that is something held in great value. So that's an interesting thought as well. How about, I get less attractive as I age, and therefore perhaps am I less lovable? These are things we probably tell ourselves, even if it's subconsciously. Younger is better. I'm not good enough anymore. My kids don't need me anymore. Now that's a big one as we kind of move through the sandwich generation, taking care of parents. Maybe our children aren't needing us anymore. Where do we find our place, right? A lot of us place our value on being caregivers for others. So as they need us less and less, or we think they do, we might not value ourselves as much anymore. Slowing down is a part of aging. I hear this a lot. I work with seniors for my seated brain fitness, and mindset is huge. And if you tell yourself, I'm a certain age, I need to slow down now, then that's exactly what you're going to do. Whereas I've seen people not even take note of that, right? So these are some certain things that people hear, right? And it is passed down. What about certain clothing or hairstyles aren't appropriate as we age? I mean, hands up, like, have you been told, like, I haven't personally been told this, but I hear stories where people are like, well, that skirt was a little bit short for her age, or, her haircut is a little inappropriate. It's a little too young for her. So we hear this, right? And this is part of ageism, which we do cover as well in our program. And it's sometimes thrust upon us by society, by media. But do we believe it? And we also put in here the famous, it's too late. I'm past my prime. It's too late. I will never, at this point, I'm never going to meet the man of my dreams. I'm never going to advance in my career. I'm never going to travel the world or see the things that I've missed, right? So we limit ourselves because of our age. Going on to the next slide there, Mal. We also have, as a coach, questions that we would prompt you. So say that you come to a one-on-one coaching session. These are questions. If you're bringing up this topic, we're going to sort of start prompting you and prying and trying to get some questions for you to think about, right? Because this is how we do the development work. We need to dive in. So the transformation starts by questioning yourself. Why do I believe this? When it comes to a belief, why do I believe this, right? Is there logic behind it, or was it just something I believed to be true because I was told it was true? What makes this true, right? We want evidence. Is there truth in this, or is this just, again, something that you've been told? So we want you to challenge it, challenge this belief. If it's true, why? Let's see the evidence. How is it true in your life? So that next one is it actually true for me? Or is it someone else's truth? Because we can live very different truths, and what is right for one person doesn't necessarily mean it's right for me or it's my truth. And is that belief serving me, or is it limiting me? If it's serving me, wonderful, and we hold on to it. But if it's limiting me, it's not allowing me to be all that I can be, or it's telling me to be lesser than, to play it small, well, then we need to reframe it, because honestly, that's where we can really start to grow and come into our own. So how can I reframe the same situation to make it serve me? So as I said, these are questions that a coach would ask you in a one-on-one session or a group coaching session. We also feel that during some of those sessions, sometimes it's not as easy to come out of your shell and talk in front of other people, or maybe you don't even know the answer right away. This is something where you're going to take time to reflect and delve deep. So we're going to be offering you some of these coaching questions through the process of journaling, where you have all the time you want self-paced to come back and answer these questions. And it's the kind of thing where it might develop as you go too. You write something down today, but next week you're already feeling a little bit different. And, in 2 years from now, you can come back and you can reflect, you can see the progress that you've made, right? There are things that we have in our lives that sometimes we don't even realize are, the cause of what's going on, what's all this sort of, why am I stuck in my life? Why is this triggering me in my life? So when we start to question and dig deep, we can start to put the pieces together and figure out why these beliefs are limiting us and how we can reframe them. So as you see here, reflection equals growth. Through this process of self-reflection and delving in, you're going to discover more about yourself and realize why things are recurring, as I mentioned, and why you're stuck. And some of the tools that we use, as I mentioned with the journaling, is just one way. I mean, we have the in-person coaching as well, but we are going to offer lots of techniques that allow you to go a little bit deeper than the conscious level. So a little bit more on a subconscious level, such as visualization, guided meditations as well, breathing techniques, and some other challenges that we're going to be throwing at you every month to just go that little bit deeper and really get to know yourself, right? Once you start to understand why you're holding on to things and you start being really truthful with yourself, you're able to see what needs to be released and what we can let go of. Maybe there's things that you want to hold on to, but we need a little tweak or a little change in there. So it's about reframing and reprogramming these beliefs. And we use different methods for that. During that process, you might have one of those light bulb moments as well. I like to say my epiphany or my aha moments. And these moments are really wonderful as well. They can actually be life-changing. It's just this moment, this instant message that you hear what you need to hear because you've been doing the work and you're showing up, right? So it can really enhance your transformation. It's inner work, which allows for the growth. And as I said, this is something that's a journey. So you're going to come back to it throughout the process, and you're going to find some months are going to really resonate with you. Other months might not at the time, but you've got that work that you can go back to. You've got a strong foundation for it. And the nice thing is when you're putting it onto paper and you're journaling and writing, you're physically releasing it and getting it out of your body where we hold so much tension, right? And you're putting it on a paper. So you're actually releasing it from the body onto the paper. Now that paper can represent a lot, right? I mean, you can throw it away, you can burn it, you can, do what you want with it. But if you refer back to it, right, you're going to have that, you can see the journey and the progress that you've made. And also it comes from here, right? It's honest. Nobody else has to read it. It's without fear or without judgment.
Great health benefits.
And it's on your own time frame when you're ready. So that's what I love about this. So at Power in Aging, we're not interested in your limiting beliefs. What we are interested in is what makes you limitless. We want to empower you. We want you to find your limitless self. And we want to work through them together as a team. So with that being said, that is a lot, just that one little brush up on that one topic. And I'm going to pass it over to Mel to talk to you about the next one.
Okay, so body image is up. Now, anybody have a problem with that? Anybody have some body image stuff going on in their lives? Maybe all their lives? I know it's been around my hood for a while. Yeah, it's a thing that, it's something you might have had again for forever. But we're going to take a peek at that area, and sometimes it hits us harder as we age, right? Because obviously there are other things that are happening. There are other changes that are happening. Physically, mentally, emotionally, all this sort of stuff. But sometimes it's just how we're perceiving it versus what's actually happening. So here's a beautiful quote that sort of is a great way to look at ourselves at any time, but as we age specifically. You've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. I think that's a beautiful way to sort of sum up what we really should be doing, because we are more than just what we look like, right? And another aspect of it is what we see on a scale. Sometimes we're really overly focused on, oh, I have to hit a particular number, I have to stay a particular number. And then the next morning we wake up and we want to pull our hair out because where did this 5 pounds come from?
Just a number.
Right? But it is just a number. It will ebb and flow, like everything in life has change to it. Again, there's so many factors to 5 pounds up or down. It's really insignificant. You have to really go by how you're feeling more so than what the number on the scale says, right? Now we come to truth versus perception as well. This is really important because we have a good, healthy body image of ourselves? Do we hold on to an image that we might have of our body when we were, say, 25 and perhaps in better shape and a tighter, skin, and I don't know, whatever it is? Does the inside of ourselves match the outside? As in this photo here, is the pristine banana not seeing the banana in the mirror, or is it perception? Is it just that they're picking apart, oh, that one extra gray hair there today, Are we just really picking on ourselves because we see ourselves every day and we're a bit harder on ourselves than we really should be? So if I had a magic wand and could abracadabra something for you, and you could change one physical thing, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Write it in the chat for me and we'll take a peek. You don't have to put your name on it necessarily. I guess your name's attached, but we won't say it out loud. It's just to give us an idea. What do we have going on?
So we have weight, which that's
so many people. So
that's a big one.
Common.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have my eyesight. I'd love to just start working on my exercising my eyes regularly.
So many things.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
Kathy, I hear you. I find some of these times just the first thing that pops into your head, but not necessarily. I mean, we have a list.
There's so many. Yeah. So, hormones. Anybody have anything going on with your hormones? So we have all these other changes that happen with our physical body. The topic is vast. We can explore anything from eyesight to graying hair to energy level, aches and pains, all these kind of things. We are all physical beings, but what I can assure you of is that we're all going through some sort of change, right? That's just life. And then we throw hormones on top of it, and wham, like what now, right? So these little sags, these little bulges, some of them are they're going to be there, and some of them we can sort of help to redefine. But the point is that hormones really take it to a whole different level. And this is a whole topic on its own that we can get into another time, because we just don't have time for it today. but this picture is really
my sentiments, exactly.
That's right. Some days I really feel like that. So where do we start? How do we get anything going? Do we learn to love and accept ourselves right now as we are, in this form, or do we make a conscious effort to try and change what we don't love about ourselves? That's the question. And we think both. We think there's an ability to compromise for the things that, they're sort of there, and that they're not the way you'd like, but you want to, you don't want to put the time in necessarily for that, but there are other things that you do want to change because they're more important to you. And that's the perfect thing. That's the perfect way to look at it, is that you can't do everything all at once anyway. So we have both compromise and change. That's right. That's how we get that balance, right? So how do we go about this? Well, how do we get these baby steps? We need to mentally shift what we're thinking. We have to get in the space mentally so that we can start to make any changes that we might want to do. Because changes are very, very hard for humans, right?
Mindset.
Exactly. So, and what's the next step you would want to take for a physical, healthy step that you can achieve these goals? So one step forward at a time will get you to your goal, and it doesn't overwhelm you all at once. That's really important. then you have to look at, again, what are those things that can be changed, can't be changed, can only maybe partially be changed, or that you only want to put so much effort into because it's not as important to you. That's a big part of that puzzle as well. And then working through your own self-love and confidence, that helps with the entire package because we need to feel comfortable in the skin we're in today, even if there are things that we want to change, because it's not going to happen in a day. So we have to be okay where we are, knowing that we want to go somewhere else maybe, or maybe that's okay where we are and we're going to stay there. It's really different for every person. So in a coaching situation, what we do, for example, in the program is we would do many, many steps and break down each quadrant. So if you're feeling like you want to take that physical step, for example, that magic wand that I had, and we want to look at that and we want to really put it in stone for you. So if you really decide that that's what you want to do and you want to make that change, we want to have it on paper for you so that you can go back to it and refer to it so that you keep yourself accountable, right? And the next step you would take would be to look at your life and decide, well, what kind of change would it really have in your reality, right? Would it make people around you act differently? Would you perceive yourself differently? Then you'd have more confidence. Is it really important, or is it just something that, you think you'd like to change, but isn't actually something you want to change? And then again, you have to decide, well, yes, I do want to change that. What is the first step? What are these baby steps we can take that doesn't dramatically overwhelm your life, that I'm willing to make that sacrifice for, so that we can make those changes going forward? And if we put this in writing and we journal about it, and we do all these exercises, visualizations, etc., it's an easier way for your mind to wrap around the fact that you do want to make this change, and that it does mean something to you, and that you will take the steps necessary to get there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pin here. Good point, Mal. And those are things like you could write down or screenshot if you want to come back to later, right? This is where we're going to find out the real deep work by reviewing these questions as well.
Exactly.
And as you can see already with just 2 topics, there is a lot to this thing called aging, especially midlife. And I mean, I can say that because that's where I'm at. I'm hoping it just keeps getting better. We've already been through quite a few bumps and, scars, maybe wrinkles to get to this point. But the way I look at it is we still have a long way to go. Mel always says we're just getting started. And I think, I'm planning to live to 111. So I'm not even halfway there.
Good number. Good
Yeah,
number.
so I have a long way to go. And I want to make sure that it's really good. I want to really start intentionally making choices to have the life that I want to live. And I think that at this age, we are just, have the wisdom, we have the experience that we didn't have before, and we can really put our hearts into it. And if you think about going over the hill, people say, oh, it's all downhill from here. I disagree. We're like at the top of the hill right now, ladies. Like this is, midway. How much closer are we to reaching and grabbing those stars, right? That we really want to go for. So we are right in we're right in the perfect spot to grab them, right? And just so you know, my hill doesn't go down. My hill just keeps going up. That's my plan. So we have one final area that we want to quickly tap into. This is probably the biggest one for me, and it was, to be honest, the inspiration for me starting and creating Power in Aging is grief and letting go. I feel that this is maybe an untapped or a taboo subject. People don't want to, talk about grief. It's a tough area. There's this beautiful quote, which is, I'm just going to read it when it comes up. Oops, coming up. I'm coming up. There is nothing more rare nor more beautiful than a woman being unapologetically herself, comfortable in her perfect imperfection. To me, that is the true essence of beauty. And I have to say, we kind of use that line at Power in Aging. We always say, come as you are, perfectly imperfect. And that's where we want you to feel comfortable to show up as you are. You don't have to put on any pretenses for us or change your mood to come. We want to be there to support you where you're at. So with grief, I have to say, I want to just be clear, I'm not talking about the grief of losing somebody. So there is also that subject of when somebody has passed and we're grieving the loss of somebody else. What we're specifically talking to for this is grieving the loss of who we once were, of our youth, of the transitions that we are going through. We sometimes have a sense of loss of ourselves, who we are. Maybe we don't know our identity anymore as we age. So the loss of youth can, we leave that behind, and we also set expectations for ourselves. So this was huge, like setting these expectations of, things that we're supposed to achieve at certain age, and all of a sudden we get to midlife and we're like, oh my goodness, what happened? I didn't achieve these things. And we need to learn to let those go, right? We need to sit in the moment today and move forward. And it's not so easily done. There are things, as you can see on here, things that are big things that maybe we could never let go of, or we haven't even thought about what's affecting us. Things we never accomplished, childhood dreams and visions that never came to fruition, right? Maybe we took a turn in the road. There was that fork and we went a different route, but we had always thought we were going to be a different, something else. Or maybe our parents put a lot of pressure on us to be something that we never were. There's careers that we maybe never had the level of success that we were expecting to have. And how about relationships? Oh, I mean, relationships are so complex as it is, but even just thinking of a partnership relationship, I mean, how many of us had that fairy tale romance in our mind, and maybe it never happened, or it happened but it didn't last, and now we're in a different spot. So that comes and goes, right? And places we never traveled to, or things that we never did. There's so many things that we get to an age and we just kind of put these expectations on ourselves. And I started thinking, you know what? Part of this, like, perhaps we were never meant to become those things, and yet we were holding on to them. So for me, acknowledgement was huge, like just sitting and acknowledging that, right? The first step, and then grieving it, allowing myself to grieve that I never had that, releasing it, and then moving forward, because I didn't want to stay stuck holding on to something that didn't serve me. So it was a huge challenge for me, and it's a work in progress, right? We're here working on it together. I actually was, as I said, the primary inspiration for Power and Aging, and I was like my perfect avatar working through this. We tend to also maybe regret the choices that we didn't make far more than the choices that we did make. And that for me is also something like, what's holding us back from doing things? Is it fear? Are we feeling we don't want, to be laughed at or looked at wrong, or, we don't want to fail? Honestly, the things, when we look back and we feel that sense of grief, it's usually for things that we never did. We never stepped out of our comfort zone and did. Very rarely do we regret the things that we did do. So I want to make sure that from this point going forward, I don't have any regrets and I'm not missing out on those opportunities. Sometimes letting things go is an act of far greater power than defending or hanging on to it, right? So learning to let go. And on a personal note, just to say, as I was approaching that 50th birthday, and having been, in the film and TV industry, one of my personal things that I really needed to work on was realizing I'd always told myself by the age of 30, I was going to have an Oscar on my mantle. Kid you not. That was big on my list. I worked really hard, and I achieved some success, but certainly not in that realm. But without even thinking of it, I started to edge off in a different direction. I got, called away to sea and was working cruise ships and traveling. And all of a sudden, it wasn't my focus anymore. But when I look back on it, a couple decades later, I thought, oh my gosh, I never had that. And I actually felt like a sense of failure. And it was one of those hard pills to swallow, as failure can be. And I thought, how did I fail? And I started thinking through it, and I thought, maybe I didn't fail. Just because I didn't achieve something I once wanted that was once important to me, if it still was, that would be different. But now I'm in a new phase of my life. Every step I took along this journey led me to where I am today. And I've had a pretty, fantastic life. I'm very grateful for what I have. And I thought, I need to let that go because that's not even my vision anymore. I need to, acknowledge it, grieve it, let it go, and move forward and start working on today and start working on where I want to be right now. And that's why this work is so important, because you can really stay stuck for a long time. And you can also not even realize what's keeping you stuck or what's triggering you through these moments that, keep recurring in your life, and why you're not moving forward unless you sit down and realize and have these little aha moments of self-discovery. So that is what this is why we created Power in Aging, and that's what we want for you as well. And I love this quote, Tony Robbins, why live an ordinary life when you can live an extraordinary life? Absolutely. Honestly, like, why settle for mediocrity?
Sounds good to me.
Not my jam. Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, you need to shoot and reach for those stars.
Exactly.
So those are words to live by. Also, all of these things that we've kind of outlined today come into play as areas of aging that are very important, and we can tend to overlook things, as I mentioned, that we don't even know are affecting our everyday lives, our experiences with each other, and even our final outcomes of, of our goals. So alignment is key, and harmony, peace and harmony and balance is key. Your mind, emotions, and body are instruments, and the way you align and tune them determines how well you play life. Absolutely love that quote. And I love how he's saying you play at life, because life, if you look at it in a fun way, it can be a game. It's a game we play. How well are we playing it? How well are we managing to play this game? Are we in alignment with our integrity, with our beliefs? Are we, working through them so that we can be the best and therefore offer the best to everybody else? Or are we feeling stuck? So we talked about the self-development work and how important that is. And we need challenges. We need to be kept, challenging ourselves, and for people to challenge us as well. We need tips and tools for things that we don't know or don't understand, and other people's input. And that helps to keep us in alignment. But there's another piece that's very important, and that's about commitment. And commitment is both to yourself for showing up and to other people as well. I mean, show of hands, how many people find that you can break a commitment to yourself far easier than you will to a friend, right? You'll show up for that friend because they asked you to be there or you told them that you'd be there. But when it comes to keeping a promise for yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. Whatever. We make excuses after excuse. So we don't honor ourselves and we don't keep our commitments. So this is something I really think we need to explore and start putting ourselves first, right? And absolutely showing up and realizing that being a part of a supportive community can keep us accountable to ourselves and to one another. But what else is going to help us show up is our why. And Melanie mentioned that before. We have to have a strong why. Why are we doing this? What do we want the end game to be? Where's, the outcome that we're looking for? What type of transformation are we looking to do? It could be a small tweak. It could be just getting through daily life in harmony, but sometimes we need to do that core work as well. I, just a little side note, have joined about 4 years ago. I joined myself an online membership program, and they had these small group support groups. And I have to say that, all of the other, input and work that was put in there was wonderful. But as that sort of ran its course and it finished, the main thing for me, the most important piece, was my support group, my lovely soul sisters. And I have to say, Pauline is here today. She is one of those soul sisters. It's been 4 years now. Even though we stopped the program 2 years ago, we still commit and show up every other week at our meetings and support each other. And this for me has been the hugest part of my growth process, and that's exactly what I want you to experience too. And because I loved it so much, I wanted to make sure that it was an important part of our program as well. So let's start to piece this together and bring back that initial survey that we had. We asked you the question of what would best help you to find your power in aging, what's going to empower you through this. And you see all the 5 options that we mentioned before, and we had a variety of answers. But as we said, we would like to be able to offer all of them. And that way it really is kind of a balance program. And so what we have for you is, first of all, it's an annual program. So it's where you kind of commit for the year, but we wanted to keep it where you have self-paced time and commitment time as well. So every month you're going to unlock a brand new theme of aging. And believe me, I have enough themes to go on for about 6 years so far. So you're stuck with us if you choose to be. But for the first year, just focusing on that, every month you're going to unlock, and each week you're going to have different videos, different challenges. We are going to do the journaling piece where you can do it at your own time, self-paced. There's the exploration process as well, and the challenges, because we want to make sure that you're challenging yourself. And then twice a month, we have what we're calling affectionately your groupettes, your small intimate groups that we put you together with other like-hearted women. This, you get together and you work through these challenges in the theme of the month, and you get to follow a format, so you don't have to worry about what to do or what to say, but you just show up, follow a very simple format, and go around and you can support each other. You raise each other up, you inspire one another, and you really help each other with the common goal of surviving the process of aging.
This thing we call life, right?
This thing we call life, because again, aging, we are pro-aging.
Yes.
It is a gift. Every day, every breath is a gift.
That's right.
And the alternative is not what we want to go to. So I would rather keep aging. Then we have group coaching, which it will be once a month. You'll have a group coaching session with both Mel and myself. We're going to dive into the areas of that month's theme. And then you'll feel supported by professional coaches, but you also have your tribe of women coming in. And honestly, there is a wealth of knowledge from other people who have gone through what you're going through, or just coming into what you're going through. So you can be sometime, the wise elder giving your experiences, and other times you're sitting back and learning about something that someone else has gone through that you're about to go through. So it's such a beautiful community that way. We also have new ideas. So new tools and tips that we want you to explore. Some might be game changers for you. And we're going to put out a list as well every month based on the theme of some recommendations for you in that area of growth, such as reading material, podcasts, recipes, and all that kind of fun stuff too. And finally, the final piece to that, we thought, how else can we make sure that we support you? So Mel and I have decided to do 2 power hours a month. And think of it like a little bonus where we keep open the Zoom room, and you can just pop in and say hello, or you can have your questions answered if you have questions, or you want to get some more help or support, and just have that little extra time with us. So it might be just you popping in and out, or it might be a group of people, and we'll just be there to support you for whatever you need us to be. So I hope you're thinking, wow, that sounds pretty awesome. It's the full package deal. And that's exactly what we're hoping that you're going to get from this. But what is the value, right? What is the financial investment required? So we are trying to be a global program. We have people from different countries coming in. And as you may have seen, most online programs are now charging in US dollars, but we are Canada based. We realize that. But again, it just makes it standard and what's the word? The continuity is there.
International.
Yeah, for US dollars. But as I mentioned, we have a special promotion to thank you for being, or we're inviting you to be one of our founding members. This is our big first launch into the online membership space, and we want you to be a founding member. What does that mean? Well, first of all, it means that you get to pay in Canadian dollars the exact same price. So if you are coming in from another destination, think of it like a 35% discount. If you are here with us in Canada, you don't have to start calculating and thinking, oh no, I have to add 35% to that. No. So that is is our bonus invitation, $333 for the entire year. It's the one-time payment. You don't pay monthly, and you get all of the content that we've explained to you as well. Also, with being a founding member, the other perk is that you lock in at that price. So if you do decide to stay with us year after year and continue, then your price stays the same. It never rises with all the inflation when other things start going up. We also have another bonus offer that we would really love to encourage you to take advantage of, which is joining with a friend. First of all, it's that extra accountability, the extra accountability buddy that you have, texting you, hey, are you going tonight? Of course I'm going tonight. Aren't you going tonight? Yeah, of course. Right? We push and inspire each other to show up. So it's nice to have a friend, maybe somebody that could really use this type of self-development work. But as a thank you, we want to offer like sort of a referral fee we kind of listed as, and we're giving an additional 11%. There's that magic number. 11% to both of you. So it brings it down under $300 Canadian for the entire year. So we think that honestly, we've been pricing other programs that are very high priced in the market, with maybe giving you one piece of this puzzle or, the other, but we really wanted to make it a robust program for everybody and not miss any of the pieces. We wanted to have the self-paced work with your busy schedules. We know, you can't always show up all the time. So you have that time to work on it yourself. And then we also have the times that we want you to be accountable and show up and commit to yourself for your groupettes as well as the group coaching session. So it's a healthy balance of both. And we wanted to make sure that we offer that to you. And we also are not fans of those people who are like, you have to sign up now, else the price changes. No, that's not our energy at all. So with that being said, this is the package. This is what we have to offer. And we do have a little incentive though. If you are thinking about joining and you're just, not sure, we are also going to offer the first 11 people to sign up a bonus thank you for jumping in, taking that leap of faith with us. And it is a free 1 hour personal one-on-one coaching session. If you want life coaching, you got me. If you want health and wellness, you got Mel. And you can take that anytime this year. So it doesn't have to be right away. You can save it until you feel you might need some more support, or it could be about something completely different. It's your hour to use whenever you want. And we actually really, are excited to welcome you to have that hour because we want to get to know you better. And in that way, we can also better serve you throughout the program as well. So just to recap those prices, originally our regular price, which will go back after our founding year, is $333 US. Today or not just today, but the founding member launch is $333 Canadian. If you want to bring a friend, and we appreciate it, an extra 11% off, which is $297, and then the free coaching session for those of you who jump off and leap.
Jump on.
Jump on board.
Jump in.
Jump on board. So our mission, as you'll see on our website here, this is just a screenshot of our website, is to transform the currency of youth.
I love that phrase.
Yeah, I came up with it because for me, we're working on transformation. But currency is a really important word when you think of it. We use currency in our everyday life to exchange it for things that we want, right? We pay, or whether it's money or whatever. And it's also a current, right? An energy current. So we're kind of playing on words that it is your energy exchange that you put out to the world. And we want you to look at aging differently. We want you to look at youth differently. We want it to be the currency of energy that we put out into the world. We have to trade with each other, and what we put out, we can hopefully expect to receive back. And I am big on energy, and you'll get that throughout the program as well. We really need to treat aging as the energy exchange, that we have a lot to give, and let's make it positive and let's make it abundant. So you are, we're drawn to coming here for a reason, and we really don't believe in coincidences. So we thank you very much for being here for whatever that reason was. And with that being said, we just have two final questions for you. So the first is it time to invest in your transformation? We hope that it is. And if that is the case, will you join us? And we certainly hope that you will. So thank you so much for coming to our launch webinar. Yay! And we're gonna turn off the slides now and open up for our Q&A. So fire away, fire away, fire away.
Now I need my glasses.
I'm gonna. Oh, I needed them before.
So,
I probably don't.
hello, you guys. Pauline.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, guys. And
I don't know.
okay, so if I want to join, which I'm going to, and I'm in the USA, so how do I do that? Do you have like are you going to send an email to everybody if they want to join or what?
So there will be a follow-up email. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Tomorrow, as I always feverishly work on
Okay.
after this. We are having a little bit of a glitch with, so our website, we've tried to set it up for a PayPal connection payment. And the gentleman who does our website, lovely guy, but he's had a bit of a problem like getting it authorized under our account name, etc. So even today we're like, oh my goodness. So
Technical issues.
yeah, we're not techies at all. We're content people. So if that doesn't work, if you're in Canada, we would ask that you just do a simple e-transfer, which would be much easier for us. If you are outside of Canada, then I can still send you an invoice via PayPal to be paid, and we can do it that way.
Yeah.
But as far as you going, hopefully in the next few days, we'll have it up where you can go into the website and click payment, and then it will take your payment. But he's working on that. He's been texting us right up to the, we're like, we can't deal with that right now.
We're
So-
Well, this webinar has been put together really well, I think. And so I can wait a few days. I mean, no big deal. I mean,
Thank you.
so
Jane. Thank you so much. And
Okay.
either way, like I know I've invoiced internationally before, like for some of our coaching sessions. It's not hard for me to literally just send it and it comes through. It goes through the same system. It's just linking it to the website and how that works. Ugh, honestly, that it just it boggles my mind.
One of the million pieces
That is
we have
so
to get.
not my field of expertise. You will never see me coaching you on technical computer stuff ever.
Me either.
Yeah,
Actually.
ever.
We have
well, you're offering a lot for that much money. You are offering a lot.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. We
Honestly,
appreciate
I feel, again, I'm the avatar, so I wanted to make it a no-brainer. Whereas like if it was too expensive for me, I would be like, oh, I don't know, and then I really wanted it. I like to like what's the word? Exceed your expectations. I'd rather give you great value and you be like, wow, you get all that, you know what I mean? Rather than so this is our launch, and that's why as well it's nice if you lock in, because if we feel that the prices are going up or whatever, then you're locked in. But yeah.
So just something in the chat here. Kathy had mentioned, I think it was when we were talking about the friend, bring a friend.
Okay.
She said, even a relative stranger. And I said, yep.
Yeah.
We can't say who's your friend.
I mean, yeah, you can be private chatting each other right now and saying, hey, let's sign up together. Okay. Honestly, we just want you there. It's our incentive. And I've had people say to me, oh, you know what? I know a friend who's been saying they're going through this or that, and I really, think this would be good for them. I'm like, well, incentive, then you do it together, because accountability buddies are the way to stay, like honestly, like even doing Power and Aging. And for those of you who know, I started off with a partner in BC, Helena. Love her to death. We have our Brazilian connection, but she ended up getting another job, going off on another path, which is fine. And I was doing it by myself. And it's a lot of work. And I like partnerships. I like working with people. So for me,
it's easy, good to bounce things off of people,
Yeah. And so for me, bringing in somebody that was going to hold me accountable and say, you said we were meeting to get this done. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. It just really makes you show up. So that's why
accountability.
And we just thought we'll kind of think of it as a referral fee, because you're telling somebody or letting somebody know, and we appreciate that. So,
and Kathy, you have your hand up, so fire away. You might unmute yourself if you
I have a couple questions. You said we're locked in at that price. Is that at the Canadian price?
Yeah.
Locked in.
So how do we coordinate if because I have someone in mind that I think would be interested? What kind of information do I send her, and how do we coordinate that that it's us signing up together?
Okay, Perfect. And I forgot to mention, it starts May 1st. I don't know how I missed that
Yeah,
little piece.
yeah.
But yeah, so May 1st, basically
There's
you
a
can
little bit of time
unlock. Yeah,
still,
so
yeah.
we have this month to play and make sure everything's ready. And May 1st, you open up your website and it's like, boom, oh, there's my first week assignment, etc.
Yeah.
So first of all, this was recorded. I'm going to just trim off the beginning chat part and then I can send it out and
Okay.
you feel free to forward it to them. Secondly, we have a little 6-minute video that Mel and I made as
Yeah.
part of a landing page promo that explains a little bit. So you're welcome to pass that on.
That'll be on the website.
We
Okay.
have little postcards as well, which
Yeah.
I'm going to include in your follow-up email tomorrow. I've took a screenshot. So
Okay.
you'll have some, talking points. Secondly, we did have quite a few, regrets for today that couldn't make it. We had somebody, a couple time zones different or whatever. So we've decided to add a second webinar on
the weekend.
on a weekend
Yeah.
that would maybe
Work for Europe
suit
and
people
BC
who
and-
yeah.
yeah.
So we're going to do Sunday, April 23rd at noon Eastern Standard Time, which would be 9 a.m. in BC, which is doable. And then for the Europeans, it's still
6-ish.
it's 5 or
give or
6.
take,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's
Sounds
amazing.
good. I'm definitely in.
Yay,
Oh,
Kathy.
yay.
I'm so happy to welcome you and Pauline waving. And I have to say, anybody who gets to work with Pauline, I've been working with her for 4 years. You're in for a treat. You're going to be a different person. I have to say, she is lovely to the core. And we do a lot of spiritual work together. But as I told her earlier in our spiritual group, I said, like that's who I am. That's my essence anyway. It's not necessarily my coaching niche because I realize that we don't all have those beliefs. We don't all come from that angle. So this is definitely focused on, coaching through aging and supporting us through all of these challenges that we find. Saying that, if that is who you are and some of that comes through, or you have some tips and tools that lead into, a different sort of area, I welcome that because I think that's how we grow, right? Is how we hear of other things and
stories and
experiences, or try this, and
Yeah.
I just love how people, can take on other people's wisdom and experiences. So it's part of it. And I feel like we need to have a community of women who, lift each other up instead of knocking each other down. And I feel more than ever with the energies of the world right now, I mean, we need to have a voice. We want to be heard.
Yeah.
We want to be listened to, and we also, we want to be seen. We want to have our space and we want to be accepted for who we are. And so that's why we say come as you are, because I feel like everybody needs to find their confidence and their power. And
That was something somebody else said in the chat earlier as well, is that women sort of become invisible.
oh yes, I did read that. Laura, I think you said that maybe. It's true. As we age, right? We feel maybe we're not seen, or maybe we don't even put ourselves out there
Yeah.
because we're not as confident in who we are now as we were when we were younger. Maybe it's us doing it, right? Or maybe it's other people. So a lot of exploration work, really.
Karima, did you have a question or did you hit it by accident?
I have a question.
Okay.
That was great. I really enjoyed it was a lot of information and
Crammed.
it
Yeah.
takes a lot.
I was
Um,
talking fast.
yeah, I want to ask you, what does a year consist? Is it like May to April, or how would that be?
That is also a great question. So, when we were studying how online programs work, there are different options, right? Some of them you have one starting point and everything. So anyone who signs up now will start May 1st and it will run through till the end of April next year. We are going to have 3 starting points every year. So, and it will be May, September, and January. So, for those people who don't miss out on this and hear about it in June, they're like, oh, I really want it. They don't have to wait a year, but they also can't start instantly. They will be, we'll engage with them and, hopefully keep them interested. And then come September, we'll be doing all of this sort of promo work again the month prior. And people can join in September or people can join in January. With all of those New Year's resolutions, everybody seems to want to join something in January. But we want to make that so it's all year round when you're feeling really, that you have those goals. So
a lot of people start things in September as well, because it's
Yeah.
like a time
Yeah.
of renewal. Yeah.
Fall
Or
of
kids go back to
of summer is
school, or
behind us.
yeah,
and
Yeah.
exactly.
Different feel, like
Yeah.
it's a gear. We get into a
You
different
Yeah.
kind
gear after summer.
Yeah, you kind of start ready to start moving the gears again, right? Yeah, after a lazy summer or whatever. So yeah, and it just worked out. I mean, we've been wanting to launch honestly for a long time, but as we said, there's so many technical pieces to it. Who knew?
Yeah, there's a
Who
lot.
knew?
There's a
So
lot.
like we're content people. We love all the stuff that we have to offer, but it's like, how do you get that into a website? How do you put that in, online? How do you get people to hear about it? You have a marketing person, like honestly, like it's
Payments, blah blah blah. Like there's lots of
yeah,
pieces,
it is.
just like
So
all businesses, but this one is new to us. Like restaurants, it's there's tons of pieces there too, but different, right?
yeah.
This is all this online stuff is a
And-
different game.
And we've also designed it so that like your starting month is like maybe a heavy hitter type thing. But if you join in September, you're still joining, we're all doing September together. So it's all the same theme. You're not starting at month 1. So we're all working on that. But by the time you come around to May, you're doing what we did in May. So that's how it's going to work. And then we have to ripple that effect for year 2. Oh my gosh. I have like 6 years worth of stuff. It's crazy. But it's like, it's so good. There's so many
to
things.
talk about, yeah.
There's so much.
Explore.
And I feel like everyone's got a different situation, right? Like, whether we were talking about sandwich generation, caring for your, older parents maybe, and still caring for younger kids, or maybe empty nest and they've left. And now it's like, now what's for me? I mean, it doesn't really matter what age you're at, you're going through stuff, right? And some things you may have gone through earlier, like, Mel had Tristan at what, like 29?
Yep.
Yeah. So in her 20s, and here I am having babies in my 40s. So like she, she's 3 months younger than me and she's gone through it. I'm like, she can help me, right? You can, and you have. Thank you.
And I have a granddaughter the same age as one of your kids.
See?
I know I have friends younger than me that are grandparents,
Yeah.
literally. And I'm like, how did that happen? Did you see Erica just had a grandchild? Like someone we went to
yeah.
high school with, and we're
Yeah.
like in grade school,
Grade
we're like,
school,
yeah. We're like, oh my God, she's a grandma. I'm like,
It's gonna happen.
I was just
some
wiping my
point.
kid's butt like not like 2 years ago, but now it's like just different phases, right? But saying
Yeah.
that, like, there's other things that are maybe more inevitable, the changes, like maybe menopause. I know people, going through menopause in their 40s, and
Yeah.
I'm just starting to go through the perimenopause. So like, I don't know, like,
Speaking of which, we do have our speaker this month is on menopause.
yeah,
so
menopause
if anybody has
coach.
interest in hearing what she has to say, she might go into peri and post and all of that. So,
Yeah.
or maybe you have wisdom to share. Who knows?
Yeah.
But feel free to join.
Okay, so you will, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to,
Oh,
did
that's
I
okay.
cut somebody off? Okay. So you're gonna send out some information that we can share with other people?
Yeah.
Get-
Yeah.
Just to be
Okay.
clear, I'm not sure. I think everybody here is on our Power and Aging regular mailing list, but please, if you haven't already signed up, I'm just going to put the link in the chat, and I got to get here. And that way you can make sure that you do, hear about all of these, the things we were talking about as our free guest speaker event series. So we have a menopause coach this month, and next month, she's online, is our guest speaker next month. Alexandra,
yes,
she is a
there.
financial wellness coach. So she will be, talking not even technical about, how to invest or anything, just how to have a good relationship with money and how to budget your everyday. So, I mean, there's so many things, right, that we want to offer with different, value to you through our guest speakers and then through our monthly themes as well.
Anybody have any other questions?
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thoughts?
And just to be clear again, this is one of those passion projects. So, we're very open to feedback, and we want to try to make it what you want. We know what we want the program to be, but if you have suggestions or you have things that you want, then
Always willing to take that.
yeah.
Lori has a question as well.
Oh, sorry, Lori.
That's okay. I just wondered, how do we pay? You said you were trying to get a PayPal link in. So I assume if that doesn't work, we just PayPal as to you, Christine, or?
Yeah.
E-transferring is fine
Well,
too. at
yeah,
this
I'm happy to send you a PayPal invoice, which would be kind of more official, though we can also write you a receipt if you need it. But if you do, know me, or we've already had transactions, you're also welcome to just literally e-transfer us, which
Okay.
takes our PayPal,
Costs.
cuts out our middleman of PayPal, to be
Don't
honest.
have to do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's like 5% or something, but yeah, it's yeah, we need to have a system, and unfortunately there's not, a perfect one for everybody. But if you are in Canada, it makes it a little
Yeah,
bit
we're not that big.
we're not
it's a
that big.
problem at this point.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, one day we will have to
That's
manage.
right.
Like, I'm dreaming big.
Someday automation has to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And yeah, and if this program is you're thinking this sounds great, but maybe now is not the right time, you do know that we have those other sort of entry points throughout the year. Of course, we do hope that you'll jump on now. And if you think maybe somebody else could benefit, maybe it's not for you, but you're like, oh gosh, my sister-in-law really needs this. That would be me. Then I encourage you to maybe share, and again, we really appreciate it. So we're starting out and trying to get things rolling. This has been a vision for a long time, and a passion project, labor of love, whatever you want to call it. And we've been plugging away every month with our other stuff and doing this behind the scenes, trying to get it up and ready for everybody. So thank you for your patience. I know you've been waiting for
Thank
it,
you.
and thank you for your support.
It's good to see everybody's smiling faces
Yeah.
as well. Connect with you all.
Yeah. So
Thank
I
you,
will.
and have a good night.
Thank you so much, and I'll
you.
follow up with an email. So keep your eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your
night.
time tonight,
Bye,
your
everybody.
energy. Thank
Good
you.
night, everybody. Bye.
Sleep
Bye.
well. Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.